Howdy champs, my name is Mohit and people, today we're gonna work with JQuery UI Accordion. Let me straight away show you a published preview or the way it'll actually look like in the browser. Okay, look, we have three tabs out here, right? And notice as I click around, the changes that actually happen at one given point of time, people. One panel or one pane is actually open, the other two are closed. I have used three panels out here. You could have used many more, right? I have set it to be collapsible, which means that I can collapse all the three panels together. Okay, that happens because of an additional optional parameter, collapsible, which I've actually set to true. Okay, I'd like to point out here that the theme that we are looking at the moment is pepper dash grinder. Now we can change the theme to a different theme too, or we can even make a custom theme. So look at how we can actually change the themes, hence affecting the foreground and the background colors too. Alright, before I recreate the whole project in a separate new file, I'd like to tell you what exactly is JQuery UI. Now very similar to jQuery. Now jQuery UI is a curated set of user interface interactions, effects, widgets and themes built on top of the jQuery JavaScript library. Okay, so it definitely uses jQuery JavaScript library and something more. Whether you're building highly interactive web applications or just need to add a date picker to a form control, jQuery UI is the perfect choice. Cool. Right. People, for the script that we'll write, the jQuery UI script, I'll need some CSS files and some JavaScript files, which are actually kept remotely on a server somewhere, which we are going to fetch through CDNs or content delivery network. Basically, they're not physically lying on our server, but they can be fetched this way through the content delivery network, basically which references an external URL, HTTP out here, and href out here. Alright, we'll also look at how we can actually change the theme, maybe to UI lightness, UI darkness, sunny, overcast, pepper grinder, black tie, dot love, and there are so many more. We'll also work with the additional optional parameters like collapsible, active, heightStyle, event, and icons. We can even change the default icons, right? We'll look at that too. Trust me people, it's not at all difficult. Okay, so let's head back to Dreamweaver and start recreating it from scratch. Let's save the file up. Let me call it accordion. Okay, so we have the doc type declaration out here, the opening HTML tag here, closing here, the meta tag out here, the head opens here, closes here, body opens here, closes here, and we have the title going out here. Okay, very cool. People, I told you that I'll be using CDNs to fetch certain JS or CSS files and CSS files which I actually need for this project to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste it out here, right? Make sure that it actually goes inside the head of the document. So we have a link tag out here and another link tag out here, which actually point to two CSS files that are required, and we have the opening script tag, closing script tag out here in line number 8 and 9, which actually point to two JavaScript files. One is the jQuery file, one is the jQuery UI file, which are remotely kept somewhere, and we are fetching it through CDN or content delivery network, through the internet basically, because as you can see it's actually a URL. Okay, so that was step one, simple step, just push in these CDNs. People, let me tell you, the whole project is available as a free download from my website, http://qualitylessons.net/downloads1, that is number 1.html. Cool. Now that I've done that, I'm going to push in some more code, and that code is actually between the body of the document, opening and the closing body tags out here, like so. So what I'm doing is I have an opening div tag out here which has an ID of container which ends out here. We have another div tag that opens out here, has an ID of accordion which closes out here, people. Okay, I still don't have the rules defined for the ID container, which I'm about to do so now. Okay, so basically it's a nested container, it's a nested div, people. Accordion within container. I'm going to click on this plus button and I'm going to say OK. The contextual selector is set to ID. Rules are going inside this document, basically creating an internal or an embedded rule. I'm going to say OK. I'm going to go to font size. I'm going to say 12. I'm going to go to box category width. I'm going to say, let's say 300 by height, let's say 400 or whatever, and I'm going to say OK. Notice the changes that have taken place. We have in line number 11 the opening style tag with the type attribute set to text/CSS, which closes out here. And for the pound sign or the hash sign container, the font size 12, the height is so much, and the width is so much. So basically this will act as the container. I mean, these are the properties for the division container. So basically the accordion will be forced to have a font size of 12, people. Very simple. Cool. So far so good. Let me just save this document up. Let me go out here after the div with an ID container, just above the closing body tag. I'm going to push in the opening script tag out here. The type attribute I'm going to set to text JavaScript, and the src, beg your pardon, src I'm going to set to, let's say, ext.js file, which I'm yet to create. Okay, so let's close the script tag out here. Basically this will be linking to an external JavaScript file that I still have to write out. So the linking happens out here through the script tags. Since it's a JavaScript file, the type is text/JavaScript. Okay, there are some more changes that I need to do, but that'll be inside the div with an ID accordion. Cool. Let's hit enter a couple of times, and let's say I'm going to create the structure for my accordion now. The H2s will act like the headings for my accordion. Okay, let me say tab 1 out here, which we will follow with the div, and that this div will not have an ID or a class, and which will contain some text. This is some text out here and some more text out here and a little more text out here. Okay, and just copy this bit and Control C, Control V a few times. Okay, I'm gonna copy this bit, the div and the H2 elements together, and I'm gonna hit enter twice, push it in again and once more. Okay, so basically I have duplicated this bit twice. Where it says tab 1, I'm gonna change this to tab 2, and for the third paste I'm gonna change this to tab 3. Now whatever is inside the H2 opening and closing elements is gonna act as the title of the accordion, and the rest is going to act as the content of the accordion. Deliberately I'm going to remove some content from the second tab. Let's say this will help us understand the example a lot better. We'll see why I actually did that, why I don't want the content to be uniform for all the three tabs or the three headers or the three titles. Okay, Let's save it up. I'm actually done with my HTML document, accordion.html. Now I need to create the external JavaScript document, which I've already linked up out here in line number 35. So I'm going to say File, New, JavaScript document. Okay, and let's save it up with the name that I've already specified, ext.js. Okay, since it already exists, maybe I was testing just before the tutorial. I may have written it. It's okay. I'm gonna recreate it. I'm gonna overwrite it basically. Fine. And I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna target the div with an ID container. And how do I actually do that? It's very simple, people. I'm gonna push in the $sign and the opening closing brackets, opening closing quotation marks, and I'm gonna say hash accordion out here. So basically I'm targeting the ID accordion in my HTML document. I'm gonna say save and dot accordion. It's that simple, people. To make your division which has an ID hash sign accordion to work like an accordion, it will automatically use the h2s as the title and divs as the content. In fact, it will become very clear if I actually go to the live view and show it to you. Okay, people, notice out here that our accordion is actually ready with 3 panels. The first panel is open by default, and notice how it actually fires on a click. In fact, let me make one change. It's contained inside a container, the div with an ID container. The height I've specified as 400. Let me deliberately change this to 600 and the width to a 400. Okay, let's save the document up once again. Click out here. Okay, and notice the kind of change that is happening at the moment. Excuse me. So basically we see there is a little bit of a scroll bar out here, which is not present for the second tab, or it's there for the third tab too. Okay, now I'm gonna start working with additional optional parameters, people, namely collapsible, active, heightStyle, event, icons. Cool. Let's start with collapsible. Now, people, notice that at any given point of time, at least one tab is going to be open for sure. You can't make all the 3 tabs close together, but if I insert the additional optional parameter collapsible and set it to true, I can actually do that. Let me show you how. Let me go to this ext.js file and come between here, the opening and the closing brackets, round brackets. I'm going to insert a pair of opening closing curly braces. I'm going to work with additional optional parameter collapsible, and I'm going to set it to true. Alright, I'm going to say save. I'm going to go back to my accordion.html file. I'm going to come off the live view, go back in again. That's as good as a refresh, and let's see if I can actually close all the 3 tabs together. Clicking on the 3rd tab again, and yes, I can do that. Okay, but if I come off the live view, go back in again, you see up front initially at least one tab is open. By default, initially one tab is open. What if I want that when my browser actually displays my web page, all the 3 tabs should be closed by default at the very beginning? Now that's possible using the active additional optional parameter. All I need to do is go back to the ext.js file. Okay, push in a comma out here, hit enter, and just tab a few times, and insert yet another additional optional parameter active and set this to false. Alright, and let's say file and a save. Now at the very outset, at the very beginning, all the three tabs will be closed. Let me come off the live view, go back in again, and as you can clearly see now, all the three tabs people are closed at the very beginning. Cool. Okay, now let's make a change out here. Instead of setting the active additional optional parameter to false, what if I actually insert numbers like 0, 1 or 2? If I insert 0, the first tab will be open by default. If I insert 1, the second tab will be open by default, and if I insert 2, the third tab will be open by default. Let me go with 1, which means the middle tab will be open at the very outset. Let's check it out. So let's say file and a save. Let's get back to accordion.html. Let's come off the live view, go back in again. That's actually a refresh of your web page, and you can see the tab 2 is open by default. Let me go back in. Let me change this to the way it was, which was actually false. Let's say file, save all. Okay, now let's talk about heightStyle additional optional parameter. Okay, I'm going to go out here after the word false, and I'm going to insert heightStyle additional optional parameter followed by a colon and the word fill. Now if I use the value fill for additional optional parameter heightStyle, it means that I would want it to occupy the whole height of the containing parent, which was actually the div container. Let's see that in action too. Let's say file and a save. Let's get back to accordion.html, come off the live view, go back in again. Okay, let's open any tab, and people, as you can see, the total height of the container is actually 600 px, as you can note out here. Okay, and all the tabs are going to occupy the entire width now. Okay, I'm going to make some changes out here in the ext.js file. I'm going to set this to content. Let's see the kind of change that actually happens now. So let's say save. Let's get back to accordion.html, come off the live view, go back in again, and notice the kind of changes that are happening now. Notice how it's actually responding at the moment. Okay, and I'm going to come out here. I'm going to set it to auto now. I'm going to say file and a save. Let's get back to accordion.html, come off the live view, go back in again, and let's notice the change now. Very much like it was with content, but I believe with content the window panels were of a different size. With auto, they are all of the same size. All right. Cool. Right, so let's get back in out here. So now that we have worked with the additional optional parameter heightStyle, we can even make the accordion fire on a mouse over rather than a click. So that's very simple. Just insert this additional optional parameter, come out here after the word auto, the keyword auto, push the additional optional parameter event, set it to mouse over. Let's say save, and people, let's get back in out here, come off the live view, go back in again, and notice the changes now. I'm actually not clicking anymore. It's firing on a mouse over. In fact, it looked really good when heightStyle was set to a fill, but let me just set the containing parent or the div with an ID container to a height of, let's say, 500. That'll look neater, as I think. Let's say save. Let's come off the live view, let's go back in again, let's say file, save all, and let's check it out now. Okay, yeah, that looks really neat. So firing on a mouse over, and people notice the kind of icons that we have out here, the down arrow or the arrow that's facing towards the right, okay, for the different tabs. depending on whether that tab or the header is actually active or not. So what we can do is we can use the icons additional optional parameters in a way that I'm about to show you. Let me just copy this bit of code. Right. And come out here. Gonna insert a comma out here, hit enter, push in this bit of code, hit enter again. Let's save the file up. Basically notice that I've used the icons additional option parameter and I've set the header, basically the title of the tab, to a different icon. Instead of the the triangular arrow, I've set it to a plus sign and a minus sign for the active header, and for the normal header, which is actually not active, or the tab which is actually not active, I've set it to the plus sign. So the the right facing arrows or the the triangles will be replaced by the plus and the minus signs now, quite clearly, as we'll see in a moment. So let's come off the live view, let's go back in again, and notice that the plus and minus have appeared in place of the triangles or the down facing arrows, call them whatever. So basically the icons have changed, so you are even able to change the icons, people. Okay, I also informed you that it's very easy to actually change the theme, so we'll do that now. So instead of mint chalk, let's go with .love. Okay, let's try .love out here. So just go to line number 7 where it says themes. Look for the word themes and follow it up with a theme name that you actually want for your document. File, save. Let's change the theme by coming off the live view, going back in again. That's actually a refresh, and notice that the theme has actually changed. I'm gonna try the theme Sunny now. You have a theme called Sunny, you have a theme called Leafrog, Lee-Frog, you have a theme called UI-Lightness. Come off the live view, let's go back in again. Notice the change, people. This is overcast, sorry, this is sunny. Similarly, we have a theme called overcast too. Okay, let's try that out. Let's hit save and come off the live view, go back in again. Alright, this is actually overcast. Alright, people, and there are several other themes too, like black tie, you have UI-darkness, UI-lightness, and you have smoothness, and so many more. You can actually go to jQueryui.com/downloads. At the bottom of the page you'll find a list of all the different themes that you can actually apply. Cool. So people, I hope you've found this information useful, and I also hope that you'll subscribe to me and keep coming back for more tutorials. You have a good day, guys. Bye bye. Peace.